Hi, I'm Adam Shiva, and in this video I want to do some prefacing that likely should have gone before my first video. The first thing I want to say is that I'm not an expert trying to convince you of anything. I am collecting information that I have found and then was at least somewhat useful to me and sharing it with the hope that it might be empowering to you. Sometimes the information that's the agreed upon way of the world is really limiting and doesn't work for all of us. And giving people other options of what about this belief system? What about this way of doing things can be this permission slip and this freedom to have a life that fits your own needs better and have access to things that really are more fulfilling. But I don't particularly think that the things that I'm presenting will be more fulfilling to you. I think at best they're some good options that might be worth trying, particularly if they resonate with you when you hear them. But I'm by no means trying to convince you of anything, and am more of an entertainer and a collector of things that might be useful. And as I share them out, use them as they are useful to you. But if anything I share is not something that works for you, when you hear it, you're like, no, that isn't for me, then please don't do it. And I take no offense to that at all, and just find that these might be helpful to some people. And in that way are worth me trying to present. Also, because each of us are so unique, anything that I even say, this is a system, I will usually believe that system or follow that system most of the time. And sometimes my intuition says no. And I think that it can be really challenging to distinguish between what's aversion or habit and what's intuition. But if you have access to that intuition, never let anyone's information or opinion sway you out of that at all, because you are the wise liver of your own life, and no one knows how you work better than you do. In that way, my kind of process is only to give you things that your intuition might consider as worth trying or worth thinking about. Also, in any of my videos that have to do with gender or relational dynamics, I often will say things in a way that's the masculine is like this, the feminine is like this, and even might even simplify by saying he does this and she does this. And I want to disclose that I see how polarity can be so intricate, and how the relationship between sex and polarity is very personal. Different people manifest it very differently. Many of the people in my life have a non-binary identity and don't want to be put in a man box or a woman box, and feel that just living as a person and letting their polarity just be what it is moment to moment and situation to situation is much more valuable than having one of these predetermined polar identities. I am not telling people how it is. I'm using simplifications, and when one looks at it through that lens, it might allow you to see dynamics in the past and give you a greater feeling of empowerment around them. You also might see that all the things I said for she actually apply to the male relative to the relationship you're thinking about. Dynamics like that happen all the time, and I am using simplification to transmit concise information, and I want you to be patient with me in that I don't think polarity is that simple, and I also really value people applying things in a way that make it real and useful. I am really grateful for the opportunity to be able to share things that I want to talk about in this venue, and also I feel really humbled by constantly learning how there's more to know. There's so much more to know than what I know. And also there's always complexities that I didn't see. And maybe I share something and I see this other side of it. And so I really appreciate you listening to me. I appreciate the support that kind of being involved in this project of mine is, just to watch this, and I hope you have a really good day. Thanks so much for listening to me. Bye.